And I think this is your moment that you can sit back and say, one, what is my own personal reach that I have? But then acknowledge who your super connectors are and be like, have I even bothered to foster those relationships? Have I done anything at all to improve those? What would I have to do to improve those and maybe unlock a place that if I needed somebody in a city, I could call that person and probably get a connection. It's right there. We just need to make a plan. Welcome back to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. Matt Pinelli is with me as always. We have a great episode for you today. And as we get started, if you haven't checked us out yet, go on YouTube, subscribe there to our channel. It helps us out a ton. And if you want to come check out more of what Matt and I are doing on our normal days, where we spend most of our time in our group coaching, 11 Circle, you can come check out the inside track. You can download the app, Life at 10 Tenths. And we'd love to have you in our world. We are collecting amazing people. That is our goal. We are collecting amazing people, bringing them all together, sharing great ideas. We'd love to have you with us. Matt, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Garrett. And yes, man, go get the app, guys, if you haven't. I love the app, Garrett. I mean, even if you're just in our free section, we post some stuff in there in the announcements thing. We have a Rockin' Health group in there too, which is kind of my little passion project of, inspiring people to be healthier, because the healthier you are personally, physically, mentally, the healthier your business will be as well. So that's great. And then we have the inside track, which is like $10 a month. And it's not like, it is. And you can get mindset videos every single week, plus daily prompts. I mean, it's great. And I love our app. I love what we built. And the app is free. So just go to the App Store, Life at 10 Tenths, and download it. And you can comment on the podcast episodes in there. So you can go to YouTube, comment on the podcast episodes. And you can also comment on the podcast episodes in the app and communicate directly with Garrett and myself, which I think that's the cool part. I love getting feedback on the podcast episodes. We got an email just the other day from a podcast listener who said, oh man, the shadow standards one, so great. I've added that one. And he listed 3 others that he said, I've saved them. And if I just listen to those podcasts over and over again, I'm going to have a great year. And that's why we do this, because that brings me so much joy of knowing that somebody can take that and put it in play and go win big for themselves. Just so incredible.
So I thought this was cool. So his repeats, he has a loop that he's like looping through these. He says, shadow standards, the trust pathway, the ladder philosophy, and unlocking success through gratitude. He says, I just cycle through these weekly and I'm going to have a great 2026. And I appreciate that more than he knows. So I thought that was awesome. So
yeah. So Frank, thank you, man. You're the real deal, brother. And so appreciate you listening to us. And it's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's dive in, man. We got a great episode today.
This is your topic. You threw this one. We brought this actually into our group coaching here just the other day, and we had an amazing discussion on the potential of referrals and how we can unlock referrals, but even a bigger picture of like when you have somebody that moves away out of state, or if they have a network of people that are not in your area, unlocking those referrals. And you have a client, Matt, that just is crushing it right now with potential income coming in, GCI coming in out of outside referrals. And I think it's a missed opportunity. So I love that we're going to go down this route.
It is. And this is so kind of the background on this so Jordan Malik, great broker out in Seattle, managing broker for Windermere office out there. And he sells. We were chatting and he was telling me about this client that he has.
If any of you haven't
probably
noticed,
listening to my dog barking in the
Teddy
background now too.
That's Teddy in the background. Teddy is a 4-pound. Is he still 4 pounds?
I don't even know if he's 4 pounds yet.
All right. Well, he's new to the world. He's learning what new sounds are, and yes, you might hear Teddy.
Unfortunately, I kept our app open. Speaking of the app, and it has this nice chime when there's notifications. Well, it sounds like the doorbell. So,
he's like, I got him. I got him. Sorry.
As you can tell, guys, we do this in real time. We don't try to edit things out. And so we're going to get back to Jordan. Sorry, Jordan, that we got off track. And so Jordan was telling me about a client that he sold a home for years ago. And this is about when he and I first started coaching together. And there was a bit of a difficult kind of ending to the transaction, not from a relationship standpoint, but from the transaction standpoint. He handled it great and everything. Well, since then, these people have sent him they said, hey, we have somebody who needs sell their home down in Southern California. Is there something you can help with? And he said, yeah, sure. Right. That was a big commission check for him. And they moved basically across the country and ended up purchasing a house and plus 3 other investment properties. Not from Jordan's referral. So after, I guess, a couple of years, they call him up and they say, hey, we want to sell all of this stuff. Can you help us do that? And he's like, yeah, sure, I can. And so he's making that referral to them to now sell 4 properties. I mean, and there's probably more coming because if they're selling that, they got to buy stuff. But I said to Jordan, I said, well, why are they calling you? No offense. I said, but why wouldn't they call the realtor that they had there? And he said, I don't know. He said, I know that I keep in touch with them, not in an incredibly aggressive way or anything, but like they're on my calendar for their home anniversary and things like that. I text them and call them every now and then. And during when they lived here, he's like, I was friendly with the husband, right? And I said, okay. I was like, so like, how frequently are you talking to them? A couple times a year, right? That's all it took for him to have that impression in their mind. And we talked about this on our group coaching. I think one of the lessons of this is particularly with people who move away, right? When we think about people in our market, we think about aggressive marketing plans. And when I say aggressive, I mean high cadence, high frequency, because there's a lot of noise that we want to cut through, rightfully so. But when it comes to someone moving away, if you as their realtor pay attention to them after they move away, more than their realtor that's right there, major value. And that it puts you in the reticular activating system in a different way. That touch point that you have is a lot higher impact than the touch point that you would have with someone who's local, Garrett.
Well, and I think we get confused, Matt, and we think that everybody stays in better touch than we do. We always are like, man, I wish I had my systems in line because, other realtors are doing it so much better than me at staying in flow with their people. And it is a problem out there. It is just human nature where we move from transaction to transaction. Somebody moves away and we go, oh, they're out of my network now. And we focus on the people that are right around us. And it's amazing. And I love that it's just a couple phone calls a year, all of a sudden is unlocking that opportunity over there. And it's really interesting. Like there's a lot of, I remember way back, because I've been doing this for a long time, there was a lot of discussion of like, who was your realtor that sold you your house? And almost always who they would remember is not the realtor that was the buy side for them. They remember the listing agent because the sign was in the front yard, or maybe the sign is still sitting on the side yard. Because that happens where they're like, is this realtor going to come pick this crap up? And they stick it over on the side yard and it's there forever. They actually think that was the person that sold them the house. That's the level of connection. And then nobody stays in flow with them. Nobody stays with just a simple phone call every once in a while. And here you got Jordan reaching out from miles and miles and miles away that's all of a sudden just making that light little touch. And they're like, well, who do we call that we trust? And I go back to it, Matt. We're in a marketplace where we are leaning to the people that we trust more than anything right now. We don't want any more confusion. We don't want any more unknowns. So the faster we can ground ourselves with a situation that we're like, I don't need to worry about that. I trust the person I have involved. Even if that person is going to find me a realtor that can help me here, I trust that. It feels safe. It feels good. And I want to move in that direction. The market's wide open for it. All we have to do is have a system around it. And I'm going to add in one more thing. Social media nowadays, as that person moves away to a new area, they are still keeping in touch and still watching all the families and all the people and all the ones they love back where you live. My friend that moved from Folsom, California to Nashville, Tennessee, still, when he comes back to California, they have like reunions The whole street, all the friends all get together. Those relationships are not being lost like they were 20 years ago when somebody moved away and it was like, man, I wonder how the Wolds are doing. They're still in touch. They're still connected. They're still talking. They're still a referral source. But we sometimes go, oh, the Wolds moved to Nashville, Tennessee. They don't live in California anymore. Oh, well, I'll take them off my mailing list. Happens.
Well, I think what's really cool about this too is there's a level, not only the trust, but also approachability, right? Because if you're like, well, I'm going to call Garrett because, he's not going to pressure us into anything because he's not a realtor over here. He's not going to force, try to get us to sell or buy or whatever. Like, I just want to call him for advice. And I'll say from my own experience, I probably about at least twice a year, one of my friends or someone I know calls me up to just ask me real estate advice, right? Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you know somebody or could you help? Connected my friend with a realtor just last month across the country for him. And it's amazing how that happens because, and I'm not an active selling agent at all, but they know that I'm in the business and we stay in touch, not even that close. Like these aren't friends that live here locally. The local stuff, that's great too. But I'm talking about people who don't live in your area. And I think, Garrett, some people will think, well, but I'm already too busy to call the people who are here. How am I going to find that time?
I'm not even making those phone calls. What are you telling me to do, Matt?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not even calling these people. Now I got to call those people too. It's like, well, first of all, you're probably not calling those people, not because you don't have enough time. Like, let's go back and listen to all of our podcasts around business planning and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to go and do it here.
Have you scheduled time? Sorry.
But it doesn't take a lot of effort.
No.
It's a simple text or a simple call once or twice a year. And it's not like you need to do this with hundreds of people. Maybe you have a list of like 10, 15, 20 people that this happens with. And you can kind of knock it out in a day. You're sitting back in your chair like, I don't know who I'm going to call. You know what? I'm going to call all my old sellers, right? I'm just going to give them a shout and say, hey, how are you doing? That little touch, because it's going to be genuine because it like physically doesn't have a quid pro quo or like, oh, well, we're not thinking about selling. It's like, cool. I don't even sell in your marketplace.
It drops all the red flags. It takes away the scary side of talking to a real estate agent. You really are a safe person at that point in time where it's like, I can just contact Jordan just for his knowledge about real estate. I mean, I don't want to take too much of his time because obviously he can't help us. But at least I can talk to him because I trust him. Like that door is wide open.
Yeah, so good. So kudos to Jordan for staying in touch with all of his and for all of the people in our community, Garrett, too, which kind of leads us into another part of this conversation. We brought this up on our group coaching and got people to share what they do and everything. And several people have programs around how they communicate with people who move out of state. And we even had Jody sharing about, because her area is a college town, how it's a genuine part of her business process because people move back. And so she's just outbound talking to people who have moved away because they may come back. Parents of kids who've gone through A&M. Garrett, you've experienced that directly.
Yep.
Through her. And it's great. I mean, yes, it's a good business strategy, but it's also fun. She's like, I just enjoy talking to people about this stuff. And you bring that energy and it is going to translate into good business.
Yeah. And I think it just, you got to look at like the connection points of people. And we help people build relationship referral based businesses. Now that's what we have focused on the majority of our coaching time. We probably have 30 years invested in helping people build referral relationship businesses. And what you're looking for is like common points of interest. And hopefully, if somebody were to move away, hopefully you've developed a little bit of a relationship with them where you can stay in touch. How's the new area working out for you? How are the schools for the kids working out? You can have some really genuine, nice conversations like a person that cares about somebody. Amazing. And just build that relationship, build those touches, build those connections. And, it's funny, I brought it up to a lot of people where it's like, if you were to communicate on that level with a group of people in your area, and then you had an expanded group outside of that area, how many people do you need? If you just go off how often people move, how often people know somebody in their sphere of influence, their database that's going to need help with real estate, at some point, the numbers just work really well. And at some point you get to have that conversation of, is all this business been here the whole time? Is it all just under the surface right here happening all the time? And I'm just tapping into it. Yeah, it's been there. It's been there ever since you got your license. It's been hanging out. It's not like all of a sudden you got good enough that all of a sudden these people decided to start to move. No, no, no. It's happening. You just need to make the connections. And this is where I get a little frustrated and people are like, I don't have time to follow up with these people. I don't have time to follow up with all my past sales. Are you kidding me? Are you seriously, take a step back for a second and say, what is the simplest thing I can do to grow the most amazing business where it attracts business into me? It's setting a little bit of time every day, every week to say, I just need to make some phone calls to the people that I've helped in the past, the people that know me, the people that trust my service, trust my abilities. I just need to stay in contact with them, because the minute they bump into somebody that needs help with real estate, the comfort level of them saying, I've got to introduce you to Matt, that's all it takes. It's not magic. It is just how the whole world works. And it works not just in real estate. I mean, you look at anything in your life. There's people you know where you're like, that person's super connected. If we need help with anything, we're going to call that person. I bet you more than anything, that person's done a good job of keeping in touch with you, because all it takes is you losing that touch with that person and you don't remember them when that moment comes up to be like, oh, we need a contractor, we should call Matt. Oh, you need a painter, we should call Matt. Oh, you need an attorney, we should call Matt. You know those people in your world that's like, I mean, my friend Dave Jackson right now here in town, that guy is super connected in town. If I need anything, I would call Dave Jackson. Now, Dave Jackson, this is not, Dave, I love you, dude. We have not talked in a while. And, you know, the farther that relationship gets away, and we're just in different points of our life, he would maybe not be my first call. 2 years ago would be my first call. And these are these things that just happen, and it's up to us. It's up to you guys out there to maintain that relationship if you choose to. It's not the fault of anybody else around you. It is all on your shoulders. All it takes is a phone call.
And I think choice is important there too, because if your business is rocking and thriving and amazing, like, yeah, you're going to end up reprioritizing your list. And maybe some of the people who've moved away are not going to get that phone call because your pattern is full, so to speak. There is going to be no flyby. That happens.
The pattern is
unless
full.
You're Tom Cruise, and it will happen no matter what. But if you do take that time, like, man, it's the opportunity for the inbound referral, the outbound referral, all these connections. As you said, Garrett, it comes from just communicating and having these conversations. I mean, gosh, we saw when we were at Dick and Missioner, there was a gentleman there who had sent a $12.5 million outbound commercial referral that settled for him that year. I mean, that's a nice little referral check that's going to come in on something like that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but this brings me to Garrett to talking about, like, well, how do you make sure, how do you help people outside your area? And how do you attract people into your area? How do people know that you have the opportunity to refer them out? Because as you said, Garrett, like there's that guy that you know that's like, hey man, they're well connected.
Yep.
But how do you know that they're well connected?
Well, I want to give one shout out to Dick and Missioner really fast. And by this time you have all heard our live podcast that we did with that office. They actually celebrate. They celebrated we were there for their end of the year awards, celebrating the new year starting. And they were celebrating how many referrals were given out and the volume that was done through those referrals. And I think it's a great light to shine inside your company of, yeah, we've got business we're doing right here on the ground, guys. Great job. We want to support that, but let's think bigger. And they have those agents thinking bigger, and it's a great opportunity. What was your question again, Matt? I wasn't paying attention to you.
It's like, so, but how do people know that you're connected? Like, how do you know that they have those relationships? And, or even the ability to form those relationships, let's say, because you're not going to know an agent in every single town. Right.
And this is where I think, okay, so everybody who's listening to this right now, Matt and I are fairly well connected around the United States with lots and lots and lots and lots of realtors. I am on the phone all the time, all day long. Most of my phone calls today are out of state with other agents in other areas. I have actually no coaching calls. This week, I've had, I don't think any in the state of California. I am spread out all over the place. Shoot me an email. You need a referral somewhere, shoot me an email. I'll find you an agent that I can connect you with. It happens all the time. So you got to stop and look around and go, who is my network? Who are the people that I know that are really connected? And you don't have to look very far. Most of you have gone to real estate conferences. I know I have realtors right now this week, and one of my agents was at the Inman conference. While you're there, gather as many people as you possibly can. Find them on social media, whatever you got to do, make connections. You can start to build your own, but every once in a while, you'll find people that are super connectors. And Matt's a super connector. I would be a super connector. I have super connectors in my network, all the people from Matthew Farrar to Ryan Seacrest we can go down the list of people that's like, I don't have to reach very far, and I can find somebody in any city in the United States to help somebody with real estate. Should probably get my license again. I'm probably missing tons of referrals. But with that being said, people, and I think this is your moment that you can sit back and say, one, what is my own personal reach that I have? But then acknowledge who your super connectors are and be like, have I even bothered to foster those relationships? Have I done anything at all to improve those? What would I have to do to improve those and maybe unlock a place that if I needed somebody in a city, I could call that person and probably get a connection. It's right there. We just need to make a plan.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where, a lot of people will focus on, I need to build these networking groups and build my list. I do think that is something that you should do. And I've gone around many different systems and processes with our clients, Garrett, on well, how do I set up a system to stay in touch with these agents and all that stuff? And it doesn't have to be complicated, but I will say most people don't follow through on the content side of things. And I get it too, because I don't want to bother other agents with they don't really care what's going on here. And I said, I get that. I said, but maybe it's a text or a call, once or twice a year, just to touch base with that person. One, to check the pulse of what's going on there, because you also want to make sure you're comfortable with the people you're referring to. But when you are in groups, it's seek out groups and places where there are people who are connected, right? Or people who are willing to serve and find other people. I mean, we've seen it in our referral board, Garrett, where somebody will throw out a town and we don't have somebody in that town, but there's people nearby and someone says, hey, I might know someone there. Let me take a look, right?
Yep.
Or then that's where you start to bounce the chain off of it. Because oftentimes when people ask me for someone somewhere, we coach a lot of people, but there's a lot of places in this country. But a lot of times I don't have somebody there. I don't have a personal connection, but somebody might. And so we start kind of throwing things out. And it doesn't, if you're connected to somebody who does the work, this is the beauty of it for you as an agent, right? Because we're like, oh gosh, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, it can be. Unless you're plugged into somebody who will kind of do the work for you, right? If you just know somebody in the area, I'll be like, hey, I'm looking for someone here. If you can find someone, that would be great.
Yep.
And if you can't, the other side of this is, let's say you don't have those connections for outbound referrals. Having the confidence that you can find somebody, that you know your job well enough that if somebody called you and said, hey, Garrett, I'm looking for somebody in, I don't know, a place that I don't know.
Pick small town in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
A place that I don't know, right? And you say, well, hey, I don't know someone there, but give me an idea of what you're looking to accomplish and let me see if I can do some quick research. You're only a Google away from looking at a list of all the realtors that are there, the brokerages that are there. You can say, hey, is there an affiliate brokerage? Say I'm with, everybody's with Compass these days, right? 40% of the market. It's let me see if there's a Compass office there, right? Let me see if there's an independent brokerage there because I'm an independent brokerage. Let me see if there's somebody who's been through the same training or coaching that I have that is there in those networks. And if not, it's okay, let me see if I can learn a little bit who's got an active presence, who seems good, and let me just call them.
Yep.
And see if I can get them on the phone and have a quick conversation. You guys know your job well enough that you can go do some of that work for someone who calls you asking for the referral. And then you're going to make a referral and make a little bit of money on it too, and while serving somebody.
Yeah.
And I think when you make the referral, Garrett, this is the beauty. This is why I love referrals, is it elevates, I think, the level of service. I mean, yes, everybody should operate in a way where people come through the business, they should all get the same level of service and all that kind of stuff. But there's a different level of attention and care that I feel like gets paid to the referrals that come in, because the introduction is warm.
Yeah.
The relationship is warm. You're not competing for it, most likely. And then if you follow up on it, it creates an even stronger bond in a relationship, which also can help make the transaction go a little bit smoother, because it keeps emotions kind of level a little bit.
And
Garrett.
I think there's a little bit of a roadblock here, because some agents say, well, I wouldn't feel comfortable necessarily referring that because I don't know them. Like it's one thing to make a personal referral when I know them, but I don't know these people. But here's the thing. You have somebody that trusts you. They've reached out to you, said, hey, potentially we're going to be making a move. And all of a sudden you're like, let me do some research. Let me see if I can figure some things out. All you have to say to them is, I've never worked with this realtor before, but here's what I did. I personally asked them some questions, and based on how they answered me, I feel pretty good with this. It is better than them just going and taking a shot in the dark and walking into a real estate office and being like, hey, we're here. We need to talk to a real estate agent. You've gone a little bit out of your way. You've taken a little bit of time, and you've verified. You now have gone up in their rankings because you didn't need to do that. You've done a little bit extra work for them. You found them somebody that hopefully has a better chance than just talking to a complete stranger. And you're sitting here saying, like, I need to think of a city. Like, what's one? I just recently did this. I had somebody that was Nevada City, California. They were trying to figure out, it's a little teeny town in the woods out here. And I just went from there. Now, again, I know this better, but I just started zooming out on the map. Put in that city, just started zooming out. What's the closest city around it that I actually know a realtor in? And then I was, okay, Sacramento. I know Rich McDonald's in Sacramento. Placed a phone call to Rich McDonald. Hey, I know this is out of your area, but do you know anybody that works and services that area? Which that then closed a loop. I had a great touch and contact with Rich McDonald, able to help somebody out that needed help finding somebody in Nevada City. And this is where your motive should be, is it's like, I'm a connector, I'm making these pieces. And yes, is there a potential of a referral at the end of it? Yeah, there is. And you need to say, okay, it's a potential there. Am I going to get paid on it? Who knows? Hopefully I do. Maybe it happens, but at least I'm helping my people out, getting to where we need to go. And if done right, yes, you can collect referral checks on this stuff. It's the beauty of the industry that you are all in. And you should lean into it and enjoy it and open up that door there, because referral checks are an interesting thing, Matt. And I've said this, we've talked about dollar per hour, and when we're working with our clients, what we're being paid, dollar per hour of all the time that we put in. From the moment of the first buyer consultation to sitting at the closing table, you can work the numbers out and be like, okay, all time invested in this deal, this was my dollar per hour working with this client. Referrals and a referral check that comes in is the highest dollar per hour I know of. You're not having to do a consultation. You're not having to sit there and figure out, you're not having to go show property. We're not having to go meet the stager at the house to have all this stuff done. We're not having to do any of these things. We're making a phone call, making a connection. And I told my daughter, when my daughter just moved to Hawaii, she's thinking about getting her license there. And she was kind of stumbling around over like, yeah, gosh, building a new business, trust, all this stuff. I'm like, Jocelyn, just start meeting all the realtors there. Just start meeting all the realtors, get connected with all of them, because you have a network of people that you could very easily just turn into a referral source for finding good real estate agents and just pick up referral checks. You don't have to be their trusted agent. You just have to be the person that's trusted, that knows the agents on the island, can connect people. You can build a whole business around this. Very high dollar per hour, by the way. Her response to me was, but Dad, I want to do the real estate transaction. I'm like, well, it's a different business. You can do that too.
I love it. I love it. So, I mean, this all started from this story with Jordan, and I'll just kind of wrap it, Garrett, with, on the other side of this too, is when you are making referrals, when you are making these connections, use the opportunity to follow up with them too, because that's another touch point that you can make. Don't just refer and then leave and just wait for a check to come in. Follow up, check in, make sure they're doing well. Follow up with the client, follow up with the agent that you connected them with. Say thank you. Just be a resource for them. It doesn't take a lot of time to do these things.
Yep.
And I think the other part of this, the offload of this, or I don't know what I would call it. I'm at a loss for words today.
Is it a big word?
Can tell.
Is it big or small?
Kind of like this. I don't know. I don't even know if it's a big or small word.
All right.
The side benefit, I'll call it, of doing this is it just gets you in the habit of communicating with people and serving people without a lot of expectation in return. Because referral checks are nice, but it's also like, well, if I don't get it, I didn't put in that much time, right? And it builds up this like energy in your body of like, it felt good to connect people and to contribute in that way. And that's going to carry over into your day-to-day business. And so that's why I love the whole referral world of business and making connections with people.
Well, and tying this back to the book that we just read, where we talk about growing as a human and finding peace and value in this world, what we all should be focusing on is how can we contribute to people? How can we contribute to others and helping them get to where they want to go, helping them be the best they can possibly be. And these are these little opportunities when you look at this and just be like, how can I contribute to the people around me? And that's what I would encourage you to kind of open your mind up to. That's The Courage of Being Disliked. That's the book. We're going to reference that here. I have a feeling a fair amount as we continue to move forward here, because that was a good one.
It was a good book. It is a good book. Not was. It
still is.
You should read it.
It still has value.
You should read it. Well, thanks, Garrett, for exploring this with me. And thank you guys for tuning in to another wonderful episode of Life at 10 Tenths. If you liked it, if you got value out of this and you know that somebody else will as well, give it a share. That's how this podcast grows. Garrett and I are on a mission. We set some big goals for ourselves this year. We want to grow the podcast. We want to grow our community. We want to get out and speak in more places as well. So share the podcast, go onto YouTube and subscribe to us there and comment on it. Download our app if you are into the apps and you want to comment on our podcast there. And if there's an opportunity, if you see an event that's coming up that maybe you're hosting, your company's hosting, and you're like, we would love to have somebody come speak, Garrett and I are available. We can do a live audience podcast as well. Or if you want us to pop into a sales meeting, we can easily just zoom right in, share some value, connect with you guys, give you some nuggets to help you guys get through the week or the year or whatever it is that you're looking for. We are here to serve you guys. So appreciate you tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.